Hello and welcome to Watch Our Crappens, a podcast about all that crap on Bravo that we just love to talk about. I'm Ben Mandelker, and joining me today is the wonderful and hilarious Ronnie Karam. Hi, Ronnie. How's it going?
Good. What's going on with you?
Not much. We have a big week this week. We are going back to Texas. Ronnie's actually already there. He's already there. I will be going to Texas. I will be joining Ronnie in Austin for our Friday night show at Emo's, where we are recapping Summer House. And then the next day we are driving up to Dallas, and then we're going to recap the classic Vanderpump Rules episode, Sex, Lies, and Audio Tape, which is season 6, episode 5. So we're looking forward to both those shows. We always have a great, rowdy, fun time in Texas. So we expect that yet again. And so if you haven't gotten your tickets, go to watchcrappens.com to get your tickets. And then the following week, next week, we're going to Vegas. We're doing our very first ever Vegas show, which should also be great. And we've decided, let's keep the Summer House train going. The show's on a Thursday. Summer House is on Wednesday. So we're going to recap Summer House in Vegas. Really excited for that one. And we just added 2 last shows onto our schedule. June 12th, we are going to be in Seattle, going back up to the Neptune. And then June 19th, our first ever show at the Fonda here in Los Angeles, in the heart of Hollywood. It's a great venue. I've seen many shows there, so it's very exciting that we actually get to do a show there ourselves. So come celebrate the end of our tour in Los Angeles at the Fonda. It's going to be so fun. WatchCrappens.com for all your tickets.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get into it. It is the very important episode of Restaurant Wars on Top Chef. Restaurant Wars, Top Chef Season 22, Episode 8. Restaurante Wars. Sad episode. Someone I like gets kicked off. Not happy about it.
And then there's also sadness in general, but it was still a good episode. Good episode, but some sadness. But we start off with everyone drinking coffee in the living room of their loft or whatever they're in. And Shuai is just saying how he didn't think he would make it this far. Nobody's safe anymore.
And then they get a note under the door. And guess what? The note says, go to the warehouse venue. And so they're like, oh my God, is it a rave?
Oh my God, we're going to do a rave. And Massimo's like, 100%. And Tristan's like, do you think the warehouse is large enough to house 2 restaurants that would pop up in 24 hours? They're like, oh, yeah, I guess that's that. We were really hoping for a rave challenge. Could you imagine they go to Toronto to do a rave challenge?
Wow, something Gail's never received on one of her outfits.
Oh, wow. By the way, did you happen to see Gail Simmons's Kentucky Derby outfit?
I'm sorry. Instead of doing that, could we just have a Gail Simmons challenge and call it Shave? Please.
Wow. Well, Gail Simmons, this is a true story. Gail Simmons, Kentucky Derby. I'm pulling up the picture so that way it's seen. So she wore a hat for the Kentucky Derby that was a cheese platter.
Oh, she really did
you see
in
this?
real life?
She really did.
Oh.
Wow. She finally did it. She wore her toothpaste as a hat.
So everybody heads over to the warehouse, and guess who's there? It's Kristen, and we get some guest judges. You're going to be shocked. This one is a James Beard Award winner, guys. This person won the James Beard Award for best hopscotch on a sidewalk drawn only with macaron. Executive chef and owner of Compé Lapin, Nina Compton. Wow, it's good to see Nina again. I love Nina.
I do. Or as I like to call her, the true winner of Top Chef New Orleans, because we all know
hell yeah,
it was not that fucking Nicholas guy. It was Nina. This was one of the biggest failures Top Chef ever had.
Yeah, that definitely should have been Nina. But she won a James Beard Award, so fuck yeah, you go. So what did she win her James Beard Award for?
I don't know. She has a new cookbook out right now. Actually, I just was reading about it last week. She's killing it. I mean, she is a really like a highly respected, chef and food personality and writer. And the other guy is, I'm sure, making a great salad somewhere. But she is my winner, and she always will be my winner.
She has actually won 2. She's won 27 and 2018 Best Chef of the South. That's crazy. That's not even one of those little ones they make up for people. Like best neighborhood fire attendant watcher in the northeast sector of national parks.
And the South has a lot of really amazing chefs. So that's so incredibly impressive.
Yeah.
So Paula is excited. Everyone's excited. And then Kristen's like, oh, we also have a Toronto native, a restaurateur, and a part-time Courtney Cox impersonator. Please welcome Chef Canada judge Janet Zuccarini.
Also kind of named after a watery squash that nobody really likes, but we all pretend to because we have to.
Someone said they wanted to merge broccolini with zucchini, and what we got is Janet Zuccarini. So please welcome Top Chef Canada guest judge Janet Zuccarini.
She is the founder and CEO of Gusto 54 Restaurant Group. And Massimo's like, that is Italian. That is Italian. This is going to be my challenge. She's Italian.
And we'd also like to inform you that she is already very disappointed in very specific things that you've all done wrong this morning.
Can warn you, Janet is unabashedly disappointed already.
I love her. Why is she not a permanent judge on this show? This is 2 weeks in a row where the Canadian judges have really upstaged regular Top Chef, because Janet Zuccarini, she is like, she picks up on everything that I pick up on. Like later on when Massimo kneels down, I was like, ugh, I hate that. She's like, honestly, I hate that. I was like, yes, Janet Zuccarini.
Yes, arms on the fucking table. Disgusting. How dare you? Elbows and arms and hands. You put them all on the table. Like, what is this? The Peanuts? Are you like Lucy waiting for fucking customers at her 5 cents advice stand? Come on.
It's also really fun trying to figure out which celebrity she looks most like, because she looks like Courtney Cox, but also Demi Moore, but also Susan Lucci. She kind of like vacillates between all these faces, but then there's like other ones that sometimes come in. She's like an enigma to me.
Yeah. She's not a mystery at all. Let me tell you what she likes. Nothing. So I like her. So, Shwai is like, oh my God, 24 hours, a real restaurant. It took me, 3 months to just pick a color to paint for Jackrabbit Philly. Like, it's not a real restaurant, babe. You're in pick out some napkins. I like that they all pretending that going to pick out a napkin and a paint color for the walls is like really opening a restaurant. It's really not.
Also, Jackrabbit Philly. Jackrabbit Philly. What, I mean, come on. What sort of name is that for a restaurant? I don't know why restaurants always have the most ridiculous names. You know, the joke used to be about bands in the 90s having ridiculous names, but I think we really need to give some of these restaurants grief. Jackrabbit Philly. I mean, it's just so silly.
And let me tell you what paint color he ended up picking: brown. It's not even painted. It's actually this is Eater Carolinas. Park Circle, Eater Carolinas. That's where it is, right? So it's wood paneling. So I don't think he even did pick a paint color. It's all like 70s wood paneling. It's cute. Of course, I had to look it up because I was like, if it took you this long, okay, well, Charleston's Jackrabbit Philly. Well, this is a different one.
Ugh.
And this one
sounds like
a navy blue or royal blue, I guess you call it at the bar, and then a white on the restaurant. So, I mean, I don't know.
Jackrabbit Philly, of course it's in Charleston, because it sounds exactly like one of the strange beers that like a microbrew that Austin Wood pioneers. Like, hey, you want Jackrabbit Philly? It's delicious, man. It's insane how good Jackrabbit Philly is.
So Kristen's like, you have to come up with a 3-course menu with 2 options per course. So 6 dishes total. Are you ready to draw for teams? Massimo. So they're drawing knives for teams. And Massimo's like, looks like we're opening an Italian restaurant. Am I right, Gusto? Am I right?
Am I right, Zuccarini? And, because it's basically Massimo and Vinny are on the same team. And Vinny, as we all know, has a brother who makes more innovative pizzas than he does. And then, everyone's picking different knives and everything. And Vinny, says, strategically, I don't want to be on a team with Tristan. He has immunity, so if you lose, you have a 33% chance of being eliminated. But on the other hand, he might be down for my next idea, which is a hollandaise pasta made out of frozen hollandaise cut into spaghetti shapes.
My idea for a restaurant is going to be called Holland Days, like Days in Holland.
But it's going to be spelled Nomad. It's kind of weird.
So it ends up being Vinny, what's his buns, Massimo, and then Tristan.
And
Yeah, he gets Tristan and Lana. Yeah. And then Schwei is with Cesar, Paula, and Bailey in team number 1.
Yeah. So Tristan's saying that Massimo is strong-willed and Lana's more reserved and Vinny is really confident, but that he's stubborn. So I'm already sensing that the Tristan's team is going to have some issues, like a battle of egos, and they're going to have some problems. That's what I initially thought, of course.
Yeah.
And
really, nobody has problems except for with Massimo. Everybody hates Massimo because he's just too much.
Yeah.
You know, he's not
Too
mean,
loud.
but he's like too domineering, too loud. He's kicking everything over all day. He's just too much. Even when Tom serves him, Tom's just like, oh, God, fucking hate that.
It's a bit much. It's a bit much.
It's a lot.
So Lana's like, well, I don't mind taking front of house. And Massimo's like, I do everything in my restaurant, so I'll do front of house. I'm like, okay. So once again, just, okay. The team challenge lady gets just like brushed over. So Massimo's going to do front of house. And well, I guess because they do like rock, paper, scissors. And then Lana's like, okay, whatever, just let the man have it, which is probably for the best because she winds up being a line cook. And as we know, if you're a line cook in Restaurant Wars, you're pretty much safe every single season. I feel like they need to find a way to make the line cooks have more risk involved.
Yeah,
with
it's always weird that they're kind of fighting over the front of the house and the head chef because those are the people that get fired every time. So
my theory is that they should do a Restaurant Wars where they make 4 restaurants and everyone has to be either executive chef or front of house. And then the line cooks are the people who've been eliminated already. So that way you still have the same number of people competing in Restaurant Wars, but they all have high stakes jobs. Just a lot.
Yeah,
more
Restaurant
fun,
Wars is more fun when there's a lot more chefs on it.
Yeah.
Right. Than when it's just like a few chefs. So, Schwei is going to do, he works in an open kitchen, so he's comfortable talking to people. And he's like, you guys, he runs a restaurant. He is so comfortable with people. Surely he should run a house. When he said that, I was like, oh no, we're in trouble. Trouble. Because every time somebody says that, they fail. Every time.
I don't know why you would doubt a man who took 3 months to choose the color brown for his restaurant. But yeah. When you said that, I'm like, okay, whatever. So then, Paula's is it Paula or is it Paula? I don't remember how it's supposed to be said, but I apologize if I'm saying it the wrong way. Is it Paula or Paula?
Paula.
What'd you say?
Paula.
So Paula's like, she decides to do executive chef. So she's going to do that. Tristan also winds up being executive chef. Since he has immunity, he's going to do the higher risk thing. And so that's what they all decided on. So now they get into deciding what. Oh, well, first Nina says, I remember being in your shoes many years ago, and Restaurant Wars is the most difficult challenge, but really had fun with it and make sure your concept is clean and concise. Okay, well, thanks for the insight. Janet, what do you have to say? She's like,
you're creating a transporting experience. Make it compelling. I'm Janet. I'll fucking eat you alive. Gusto? Let me tell you what. Me no gusto. Anything you idiots came up with today.
I'm like, yes, Janet.
Also, Schwei, don't like the way you tied your shoes. Double knot it next time you're in my presence.
So they're given the rules. They have $4,500 to shop at Whole Foods and $2,300 at a variety of specialty markets. And then they can only prep and cook today until 8 p.m. So they have to be strategic in how they're going to spend their time shopping because they don't have very much time. And then tomorrow they only have 4 hours to prep, cook, and set up the restaurant. So that's crazy. It's a crazy short time frame.
The time frame is very short. Okay. So then Massimo is like, so the Tristan team sits down and Massimo's like, okay, I've got an idea. We're going to do 6 dishes that represent the different stages of Canada, something French, something English. That's basically all I've got. And they're like, yeah, no, we don't like the sound of that. So Muriel's like, oh God, they really are losing the egos. They can't come up with an idea. This team is really screwed.
Yeah. And so Tristan's like, what about veg forward? And Vinny's like, yeah, because with that, we could still be ourselves. I mean, hollandaise a vegetable.
I made a lot of vegetables at the Nomad, so I could really just be myself at last.
Yeah. He's like, I got an idea for a name for it. NOAOAMAHDD. Like, Vinny, Come on, guys.
So they decided to do veg forward, which I thought again was a trap because in the past, when teams have done poorly on Restaurant Wars, it's because they've gone with like global cuisine. They go with something so broad that they can all just cook whatever they want and then it's not cohesive. So I was like, okay, this one's going to be a failure. So we go to the other team.
But they also do veg forward and then everything is meat.
Well, especially
90% of it is meat. And I know that they're just saying like it can still have a little meat, but meat's not the star, but meat was the star. I just don't understand how they got away with that because I thought for sure someone would be like, oh, I mean, I get it. It doesn't have to be a vegan restaurant, but you're serving us pork.
Yeah, Vinny definitely was the one who was out of control with that. I was actually mad and he did get clocked for it, which I was happy about. So the other team, Bailey is like, okay, well, we got Italian, Latin, Italian, Latin, Latin, Italian, da, 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 da. And they're like, okay, let's do it family style. And they like settle on this idea really quickly. They all come together. I was like, this is going to be the winning team. They have a cohesion of an idea. They're all on board. They're happy to work together. I see how this is all going to work out.
I knew this was going to be a fail because family style, no, judges don't like
I didn't even think about that.
When it's so, they want something refined, you know, when you just throw a bunch of plates on the table, they'll ding your ass for that. And then Italian, like, come on, like Bailey just made a chicken parm pizza. Then she made a like stupid thing the week before that was really bland and plain and Italian-y. And I don't know. I just boo.
Yeah, no, I didn't flag that and I should have because you're right. So Cesar is like, it's going to be like,
I'm not dissing you. I'm not like getting on you. I'm just,
no, I'm saying this was a blind spot.
Style, right? But then they also choose grandmas because they know how people are. And if they can say like, oh, my grandma liked this and she had a really hard life, the judges are like, oh my God, thank you so much for sharing about your grandmother. Tell me about how she made her eggs. Gail, you know, like they love a good like sad story. So then they could all be like, oh, my grandma was in like 7 wars and all she really wanted was a Brussels sprout and a piece of bread. And so they think they're going to have this. But I thought, oh no, they want to make it grandma chic and they paint the restaurant pink.
Grandma chic, sort of like when Gail wears her polka dotted culottes. Am I right? Ooh, ghost of Padma back.
Sort of like what Gail's grandma says to her, not chic. Grandma, semicolon, not chic. Dash, Gail's grandma. Is that too long for the front of a restaurant?
Gail got excited about the idea of grandma chic until she realized we said grandma chic, not grandma sheet cake. That's exciting for her then.
Yes, everybody, Gail's grandmother was a sheet cake. Was anybody surprised?
Gail comes from a long line of proud sheet cakes, so we try to be sensitive about the topic.
It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens commercial.
So Bailey's like, I love grandma vibes. Could we just do grandma restaurant? And they're like, oh God, all right. So throw out some grandma's names. And Shwai goes, my grandma's name is just Grandma.
Paula's like, but my abuela was Pipon to like, so, and then Paula says,
I don't think you should just call it Pipon because that's a famous chef.
Yeah, exactly.
Pipin, actually,
and sort of like a mustard. And so then
Paula's almost like, a Real Housewife of Miami.
So we've decided to call our grandma chic restaurant Larsa Pippin.
Larsa Pippin's bleached asshole. And Paula tells us that pipon means have a belly, which you'd all be cut off if I was your grandpa and you were like, hey, there's this fatty. Here's Grandma Fatty Ronnie.
So they decide to call it Nona Pipon. Which is cute, but if you think about it, it's like grandma with the big belly. So now they're trying to figure out, the other team is trying to figure out what they're going to call their veg forward restaurant because Nomad just isn't really flying with anyone but Vinny. So they're very literal, right? So Vinny's like, oh, like a garden. And Lana's like, what about something like flora? And like, what about flora and fauna? Like, yeah, flora. But like, and then Tristan's like PHLORA for flora.
Why?
I don't know why it has to be PH. Also, isn't the fauna the animal part? If it's veg forward, why you include? Why do you have a fauna? Okay, just make it flora. Why do you need flora and fauna? I don't get it. Huh? What? Huh?
I was hoping you'd know why they did that because they did PH for flora and for fauna. So I didn't really get why they would do that. I mean, except that you're a restaurant, so maybe you're trying to make it cutesy, but I just don't. Or do those mean different things?
Is it like acid? Is it like it's gonna be veg forward, but with like a lot of acidic flavors? So it's gonna be pH balance for strong enough for a man, but pH balance for a woman. That kind of flora.
Well, I looked it up, and Nanak Flora is an actor from Deadpool and Wolverine. It's a child actor.
A tribute.
So there you go. That's all I know about it.
Vinny's like, I like that. Okay, we have to get food. I will be on top of going to the Hollandaise Depot, or we are going there, right? Hollandaise Depot? No? Okay. I was sort of hoping we get to go there. Bulk Hollandaise for days.
Sorry, I was deep into Flora on the internet.
I'm saying,
like, wow, what a talented young man. Yeah, Vinny's like, there's pressure, there's stress. I might come off as cocky, but the goal is to win with Nomad's recipes. So hopefully I can do that. And Tristan decides he's going to do a mushroom salad.
Yeah. And Lana's going to do a potluck or consomme. And so they're just all plotting out their menus and everything. Bailey's going to do an arancini and Schwei's going to do a frutti di mare. And they're just making all sorts of comfort food, and it's going to be fun. But Paola decides that she's going to do an Italian cake, a torta di noci, but it's gluten free. It has no flour. So that's what she's going to do.
Yeah. So then, they're just talking over what they're going to do. Planning. And then we go to what?
I said, they're just planning.
Yeah, they're just planning. So then Tristan is like, okay, I don't mind doing a vegetable forward dessert. How about a chocolate custard? Probably with parsnips or something. And Vinny just makes a face and he goes, I'm comfortable with that, Vinny. I'm 100% comfortable. I love how Tristan dealt with Vinny, because I feel like people like Vinny can start fights, and I like that Tristan's just like, no, this is what I'm doing. Shut the fuck up, you stupid nomad motherfucker.
Vinny's like, but I don't understand. You said a chocolate custard with parsnips, but you didn't mention the hollandaise part. Did you forget that? That's going to be part of the custard, right?
So now they go to the event space, and they go to shop for the dishes and stuff.
Yeah.
And Tristan's like, we have flora and fauna theme. Okay. So we need something natural and foresty. Right.
Yes. They're very, very literal. I kind of feel like they should have gone for a kind of a chic look. Just because you're cooking with vegetables doesn't mean you need to actually make your furniture look like trees.
Yeah. White plates, plain chairs, regular,
or just like black,
not paper napkins, but like white napkins. Boom, you're done. Like, it all has to be green. And what reminds us the most of nature? You're killing a pig. And so let's just veer away from that.
Yeah. And they also, like, none of these guys have any sort of design sense. And you can see Lana's getting frustrated. She's like, can we just like move this along? Because we don't need to be here all day. You guys are making terrible choices right now.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, the other team is like pulling out like lots of fun grandma chic things, like old, like vintage kind of plates and things that have like flowers and whatever, which I actually like. I think this works through the theme very well.
And they have a cute counter, because every time they pick something, like, that's cute. No, that's cute. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. Cute. Ding, 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 ding. Cute. So now they have to split up they have to decide what to do for the markets, because they've got multiple markets. So Massimo comes up with the idea that he'll go to Whole Foods himself, which could have been a disaster, because it's Massimo left alone with everybody shopping. That could have been scary, but he's going to go there and then send the rest to the specialty markets. So that's how they're going to save time.
And he's acting like he just invented some amazing concept of multitasking. He's like, this is actually the best idea ever. The four-headed dog, maybe too much, but we divide and conquer. I'm like, so you split up tasks and you did one of the tasks that you were assigned. I don't think this is a huge innovation. But then again, compared to the other team was like, we are a team and we're going to be a team together and we're all going to shop at the St. Lawrence Market together.
Yeah. So that's what they decide to do, which is a fail. So then we go to shopping. So we're at the market and Paula is like team. And then we see Massimo just like a nightmare in the Whole Foods to anybody who ever shops. It's like, yikes. Mm-hmm. He's just running around, kicking down. He's like, there's some beans I need. He like kicks down the whole thing. It's like, cans are all over. He takes one little can. He's like,
knocking over shelf after shelf. Lana, at one point, she's talking about her pot liquor consomme, and she talks about how her background is originally in journalism, and she does a lot of investigating food now. And she talks about how her ancestors made pot liquor because it was all that they could eat, etc. And they show a picture of her graduating and with her parents. It's the sort of like biographical detail that normally someone gets when they're either going to be in the top or the bottom. Or possibly eliminated. And she winds up in neither place. And this is like the second or third week in a row that this has happened, where they've just sort of inserted a little bit of biographical information on Lana, that had no bearing on the actual episode, which makes me believe my theory is even more correct, that she's going to make it all the way to the end. I feel like they're trying to form a story with her to carry her into the finals. I'm just,
well, guess who's going to tell you whether you're right or wrong? Time.
Wow. Or my dear friend, Ali Wong, tell him who's right. Okay. Or how about this? Tell him who's stupid. I've got an answer for that. You are stupid.
So they're running low on time. So Paula's like, okay, it's after 5. So maybe we should start going to Whole Foods. So they break off, a couple of them break off and run to Whole Foods. And then we see Massimo's team arriving at the warehouse. And so they are getting all their mise en place and cooking started and all that stuff. And Shui is like, yeah, Cesar and I went back to the warehouse and we've got 2 hours to prep, which is plenty of time. But Bailey and Paula have half the groceries. So they have all my seafood.
Yeah. So he can't prep any of his seafood, which he needs to get done because he's front of house. So he's not going to have a lot of time tomorrow in the kitchen. So he's just sort of like wasting time doing nothing. And meanwhile, Bailey and Paola are like, oh my God, time's slipping away. It's taking so much longer and yada, yada, yada. But the other team is fine. They're getting to work. They're working on their stuff. Tristan's working on his mushroom escovitch and Lana is working on, her second course. Vinny's like, I'm making a squash dish with pork tenderloin and XO sauce. For some reason, it really bothers me when chefs just say XO. Like, I don't know. I need them to say XO sauce. When they say XO, to me, it's the equivalent of saying Nick Cage. It's a weird quirk I have, like a weird, like, it's like, am I the only one who's like that? Who's like, I want them to say XO sauce, not just XO. It's like saying, I'm going to add some, I don't know. This may be a hill that's not worth dying over, but I have to share my honest truth.
I need to know what XO you're making. Is it a sauce? Is it a game?
My sauce is like XO. Okay. So Massimo, is going to be working on a corn on the cob ice cream with grilled blueberry condiments, all that stuff. So Bailey and Paula finally arrive.
But I'll try it.
Yeah.
I'll try corn ice cream. Why not? Corn's in everything.
Yeah. So Paola and Bailey finally arrive, which means they only have an hour and 5 minutes left to prep and do their work, which is not enough time at all. And this winds up fucking them for the rest of this entire episode.
Yeah. So she's like, well, Paola's like, well, I know we're in the weeds, but I'm exec chef, so I have to make sure I'm organized. And, we've got Chipotle chorizo for first course and arancini with Bailey. And it's the perfect marriage of Italian and Latin cuisine. And she's just naming dishes they're going to make. And Shui is like, I'm fucked. So it's my only dish, so I could be going home if I fuck this up. And then Cesar is going to do a braised short rib with polenta and ancho peppers for the second course. Cause they need something homey and braisy. So.
Yeah. And then Cesar's also going to do a churro with a pistachio crumb, and Paola's going to make this walnut torta with the tres leches. So they're just like working really, really hard. And I was impressed. I mean, Paola was like really good as an executive chef. She was like delegating responsibilities, telling people what to do. So again, I'm still like in this mindset that like even though they're behind, they're going to pull it out because they're very organized. So then things get really sad because a producer pulls Tristan aside and says that, they got a call from his mom that there's a family emergency. So he goes outside and calls his mom, and then the screen sort of goes to black, and then it comes back, and he talk about how the night before his stepfather, who is basically his father, had a stroke and is in an induced coma, and it's obviously he's going through it, but he knows that like his parents would never want him to quit on the dream, and that's actually what his mom tells him. So he goes back in the kitchen, he's like crying, and it's like really sad.
He is crying, but he gets right back to work. I mean, my God, that guy's a trooper.
Seriously.
And so they just keep on working. And Shuai tells us he loves to be in the front of the house. He's so good at it. And he's like, let me tell you about communism, guys. So we didn't have anything in China, no electricity, no running water, no toilet. But his mom and his grandma never let him feel it. He never felt hungry. He never felt cold. And that's why he cooks.
And
which didn't really tie back to the front of the house thing, but I was like, oh, it's still a nice story. It was kind of a
Nice
story where I
story.
was like, wait a minute, but why do you like working in front of the house? But that's a crazy story, right? My God.
yeah. So now it's the next day, and now Tristan has received news that his stepfather has not made it. His stepfather has actually passed away, which I can't honestly even imagine, like, going forward with this competition, like knowing that your dad has died. But his team rallies around him. It's like very emotional. I'm like sitting there getting choked up watching it, but he's just going to go forward. So a lot of emotions are running high during all this, and they get back into it. They've got 4 hours to prep and everything, and they're doing all this stuff. It's like prep. And meanwhile, Shuai is dealing with the servers. They're setting up the restaurant, and Shuai is like trying to train people, but like Massimo is like making so much noise on his half of the warehouse that like you can literally just like hear him. Massimo's like not even with people. He's just moving tables around, and you just hear him be like, oh, and Shuai is just like losing his mind trying to train these people.
I think it's a big mistake that they choose these paints because the grandma restaurant paints it bright pink, which is ugly as fuck, first of all.
Yeah.
And also it smells like paint. Like, who wants to eat when everything smells like paint? Like, new house smell is not good when you're eating. It's not even new house smell. It's just straight up paint. And the other one does like a really deep green because vegetables are green in general.
I know, it's so literal. It's so on the nose.
Yeah.
You know what I would do? I'd be like, okay, our theme is industrial warehouse chic. And then you don't have to do anything. You keep the floor dusty. You keep the walls the way they are. And it's just that's the theme. That's the vibe for the food.
Yeah, just sawdust. Just be like, we're eating in a mill today.
So Paola's working on her cake. She's combining two different cakes together. She's done each cake on its own, tres leche and the torta de whatever it is, nochi, but she's never combined them, and she's not sure how that's going to work. I was like, okay, well, I'm starting to sense that this team is now going to lose, because if you're experimenting with a dessert, it really only works out once per season, and that already happened. So this is going to be a problem.
And cakes are so difficult to make.
Yeah, you don't play around with that.
You don't mess with that on an important day. So then, we hear Massimo kicking down walls. Like, yeah, that's Massimo over there. So then Bailey's like, I wish we had a little more time to make adjustments, but here we are. And then the diners start to arrive. Dong, ding, dong, ding, dong, dong.
So it's happened. It's arrived. And now things are really starting to kick in. The guests are arriving, tickets are coming in. And the first problem with Family Style is that no one's ordering it like Family Style. They're not sitting there and ordering for like the table. People are ordering individual Family Style portions. And so there's two problems right away. First is that like arancini arrive at a table and there's only like 2 or maybe 4 arancini on the plate. That's supposed to be Family Style, which is hilarious. And everyone's just like staring at it because everyone's clearly hungry because they've probably been waiting and holding from production for like 3 hours. And now they're in there and starving. And now you've got a table of 8 strangers all staring at 4 arancini, and no one wants to be rude to people they don't know, but everyone wants their hands on that. And so already this concept is backfiring.
Yeah. And I was cracking up because Shuai is explaining the grandma theme to one of the guests, and he walks away, and the guest goes, I just can't wrap my head around this concept. Really? It's like the most hacky concept ever. Like food you'd have at your grandma's house. Like, I just don't get it. Shut up. Stop filming the normal people, please.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
So then the judges arrive at Nona Pipon, and they do that whole thing where they pretend like they're going to a real restaurant. And Kristen's like, hi, we have a reservation for Kish, Simmons, Zuccherini, Compton, Colicchio, and Chipotle, where food is always fresh. No microwaves, no can openers.
This dinner will be paid for by the Visa Grande, which is the most cash back on any other card. Thank you.
I'd like to say that the chairs tonight have been provided by Jennifer Convertibles. They are getting into the chair business, so take a seat and enjoy yourself. Jennifer Convertibles.
Gail's like, wow, look, here we are at Restaurant Wars 22. Wow, maybe at 23 you'll learn to pick a dress that fits.
Restaurant Wars 22. 22, the number of restaurants Gail Simmons has actually eaten. If you see a bite mark in that Applebee's, you know Gail's been here.
22, the number of Apple computers that were sold before they finally just decided selling it with a logo with an apple already eaten out of it because Gail kept eating all of the apples. Sorry, that was a little long, guys. Sorry, that was a little long.
22 is the number of menus Gail stacks in between layers of buttercream in what she calls a cake.
So a waiter comes over. He's like, oh, hi, welcome to Nona Pipon. We're Italian and Hispanic inspired. And, we want to bring your mother's house to your house. Oh, does anybody smell mothballs? I'm sorry, I peed on the floor. Anybody? Okay.
And they're like, wait a minute. Why isn't Schwai here?
What's her buns? Gail's like,
Where is Schwai? I'd like to be greeted.
Honestly, it's a fair question. This is Restaurant Wars 22. This has happened 22 times. How in the world do you take the front of house thing and you do not greet the guests the moment they walk in and you don't give them all the attention? It's literally every season this happens. How does this happen? Like, I don't and Schwai does that thing. And I think it was like Jackson a few seasons ago where Schwai's like, oh, I'm afraid. I don't want to be too overbearing. Yeah, you don't have to be overbearing, but you have to greet them and say hello. Like, how do you mess that up?
yeah, and especially when he's like, oh, I'm the front of house guy. That's me. I'm the one. And then he's terrified. Like he's turning red. He's shaking. And, it's not going out well. And they're pissed. They're automatically pissed. So, he finally comes over. Yeah, he finally comes over. He's like, how's everyone doing? And he's like, I'm tired. But I guess I feel good. So anyway, the arancini was Bailey and I made the fruity Damar. And then Paula helped make the agua chile. So, God, I wish she made a nap for me. Am I right? This sucks, God. All right, enjoy.
Janet.
Hope you enjoyed this more than I'm enjoying it.
Janet is furious. Wow, he's tired. Well, you know who's tired? Me, for having to carry this new slate of judges on the Zuccherini back. Okay, so don't talk to me about being tired.
And Janet's like, I have a serious pet peeve.
Oh, really? Because every pet I've ever passed is peeved at Gail. You can't take that woman around a dog farm. Trust me, they'll try and bite her.
I have a pet peeve, which is that Gail keeps trying to eat my pets. So,
What's
Gail's
odd is
peeve.
that Gail has pet peas. Not one of them has stayed alive for more than an hour.
The most embarrassing thing is watching Gail trying to attach a leash onto a pea and walk it on the streets. Gail, it's not going to work.
So Janet's like, well, my pet peeve is when you're offering the service of family style, you need to have sharing utensils. We're splitting this with our forks.
She's right. She's right. How do they not have serving spoons with your family style? Also, the serving spoons is a better way to signal that this is family style if you have a big old serving spoon. But
Yeah,
if you
they
just have
seem to
put the
fix
plate
it in the
down-
later dishes, but this one was sorely missing. They were sorely missing. So,
sorry, this is sorely missing.
so Nina likes the arancini. She said the breading isn't too heavy. It's quite light. And Kristen's like, I liked my first bite of arancini. It tasted like pizza. And then that connected me, I think, to this concept, which brought me a little joy. Because pizza reminds me of grandma. Grandmas remind me of this. So here we are. Grandma's and pizza. Even though this wasn't pizza, I'm still connected and I feel joy.
Wow. You know, Gail also tastes pizza in everything she eats, but that's because she always adds a slice of pizza to everything she eats.
I smell the pizza and I just think of Gail's perfume.
I love that Kristen, you know what's so funny? Like pizza is such like a comfort food and warming, but do people really think about their grandmothers when they think of pizza? If I taste pizza, I don't go to grandma. I think of just pizza parlor. I think of like childhood, but like not grandma.
I
So
think
it's funny
of
that
childhood. I think of like my mom is sick of talking to me.
Here's a pizza.
Here's a pizza or drop you off at the Chuck E. Cheese, whatever it is. So then,
Well, everyone, I've got bad news. We failed. Gail's here, so I guess we didn't avoid the Noid. Okay, everyone enjoy your pizza. Noid's here.
All right, Gail's almost here. Everybody have their hot and ready counter set? We can see how far away Gail is.
Wow, this reminds me of growing up and ordering in from Pizza Gail. I'm sorry, I meant Pizza Hut.
So Kristen didn't like the aguachile. She said the smoothness of the squid wasn't right and the whole thing was lackluster. And Tom's like, the seafood itself, it's kind of bland. What a boring seafood. A lot of boring seafood.
Wasn't bland for Gail because she dipped some pepperoni into it. So then Tom's like,
I think they had so many different parts, and as they started building it, they didn't really season it properly. I mean, what are you going to do? Like, one part sucks, the other part sucks, 3 parts aren't going to suck less. That's for sure. I'll tell you that much. Get some salt. Huh? Know what I mean? Huh? Jeez.
this agua chili, it's making me feel a little agua hot under the collar. I don't like it.
And now Tristan is getting pissed because there's a server that's just writing all the orders wrong. And they have a way that they're supposed to be doing it, and they're not doing it right. And so you see him walking over to Massimo. Massimo's like, okay, well, we can.
I would have liked this server to have been shamed on TV because there was like a clear way to do things. It was like write down all the orders on and write it down. And this person took check marks and put them next to like every menu, like handed in like 10 menus or something with check marks on them. Like it made no sense.
They just put check marks next to everything. They're like, how are we supposed to do this?
This person needed to be shamed a little bit. We needed to see their face.
Their shame. So, the waiter brings the second course and the waiter's, I'm sorry, he didn't go up to Massimo because Massimo's not on this team. Sorry, my bad. So the waiter comes up and he's like, okay, this is cannellini, this is cannelli. And Nina's like, this is cannelloni. Whatever. And then, poncho braised hort bibs. Like, okay, can we just got a better waiter.
He's really messing. He's really scrambling his letters there. So Janet is like, well, this looks really homey, but I have an issue with it. If I'm going to have something homey, I would like a small little diorama of a home setting in front of me too. I just want it to be sold.
That's how we do
I don't
it
see a diorama.
That's how we do. I'm a service person.
So, Kristen's like, well, I thought Schwei would come and check in with us, but still hasn't. She's like, Schwei, Gail's like, Schwei, we have some questions. Do polka dots go with stripes? No? Yeah, that's what Padma used to say too. I don't care. I'm going to keep trying it.
Yeah, at this point, like if you're doing front of house on the show and if Gail or any of the judges ask sort of passive aggressively, we have some questions. No, that's their way of saying, we've been waiting a while and you're not attending to us. And so the questions have built up and we're confused. And why aren't you, we're celebrities. Why are you ignoring us? Like if you hear that tone, that means you do not leave their side the rest of the night.
Right. So Kristen asks who made each course and he's shaking. He's like, the ancho short ribs are from Caesar. The pasta's from Bailey. Bye. He runs away. So Nina's like, the short rib had a lot of flavor, but the consistency of the polenta is off-putting.
And Kristen's like, and what did you think about the cannelloni, Tom? Thank you for saying it correct. No problem, Janet. I got you. So Tom's like, it's good. It's a smart idea because, you can produce it pretty easily. And I prefer the sauce actually a little bit smoother. It's a little bit of a crunchy sauce. I mean, what's the point of having a sauce if it's not going to be smooth? You know what's smooth? Growing up with a father who's a celebrity chef and knowing you can take over his restaurant someday. And then you decide to go and become a mixologist. You know what that is? That's like the sauce. Nuts. Full of nuts.
I'm getting whole almonds. There are whole almonds in here. They're not even crushed or chopped. Well, why bother? An almond saw you coming a mile away and said, I'm dead soon anyway. I might as well just lie here and wait for the beast to crush me.
God, what a sad almond. Guess what? I just talked to the almond because I'm in heaven with the almond. You guess, fun fact, almond heaven and human heaven share the same space. And the almond said, ugh, God, I had to die on Gail's plate. I said, I know, I'm so sorry. Just a fun story.
Kristen's like, I like wet nuts. And they're like, oh my God, Kristen, yeah. She goes, well, I mean, I like them for my ice cream, but wet nuts together, just not for me. Tom's like, grandma had a blender. I mean, unless your grandma was a goddamn idiot.
Meanwhile, Schwei just told the story how they had no electricity and like rations. He's like, I mean, everyone's grandma had a blender, all right? So Gail's
and also one part we skipped over was when they were making this whole thing. Wasn't this the one where Paula was taking over for someone, and they were
Bailey.
she's like Bailey, and she's like, "How do you like your almonds?" And Bailey was like, "Crushed," but they still came out kind of whole. So we're like, "What happened? How did Paula drop the almond ball?" So the Tres Leches comes over. And that's from Paula. And then they're also serving a little churro. And that one is from Cesar. So Nina's like, the Tres Leches is usually light and spongy, and this is juicy. Like, what the fuck? What is this dense, nutty pound cake thing?
There's got to be a joke in here somewhere. I just can't access it. So then Tom is like, I mean, it's so dense. When it soaks, it's just the outside gets the milk, and then the rest just falls apart. And then you just get that old cereal. Like, this is what's left at the bottom of the cereal bowl. Really, I'm not sure Gail understands that concept. If you know what I'm talking about.
And Nina loves a churro, but it's dry because the ratio is off. And we also saw that when they were making these, he was kind of pre-piping them out and then letting them sit there because he had so many to make, which I guess got him in the end. So Gail's like, wow, why would they put it in this shape? I mean, it just made it so much more dense. Oh God, ask your creator, Gail. Jeez, we've been asking the skies that ever since we met you.
Wow, that was oddly poetic, Padma. Thanks, no problem. That's because I'm in heaven and I just learned about poetry from Shel Silverstein. So Kristen's like...
God, I wish he spoke as well as he wrote. That guy's a real pain in the ass to have dinner with, I'll tell you that.
Wow, excuse me. I'm about to do Heaven Restaurant Wars with special guest judge and James Beard Award winner, Emily Dickinson, my new friend. Sylvia Plath is one of the chefs.
Sylvia Plath. She's a little depressed. But don't worry, that's just part of her personality.
Sylvia, did you mean for this dish to taste so much like your head?
One of our judges is Dorothy Parker, and we're making her eat at a rectangle table. You guys probably won't get that, because you're not dead yet.
Wow. Gertrude Stein, why'd you serve this in a mug instead of wait for it, a stein? Get it?
Wow, hold on, everybody. Gertrude Stein is trying to leave early. I'll be right back, living people.
Hey everyone, this is the end of part 1 of this recap. For part 2, keep an eye on your podcast feed. It is coming up in just a moment. Thanks so much for listening. Catch you on the second half. Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King. It's always a party on Allison Block.
Our way is the Amber way.
It's the Foster and the Furious. It's Amanda Foster.
She can run my country. It's Angie McGovern.
It's always automatic with Ashley Auto. Put your hands together for Carly Clapp.
Get on the right foot with Chrissy Offit.
She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela. Etchels.
We never miss her call. It's Diane Call.
Aaron McNicholas. She don't miss no trickolas.
Hava Nagila Weber.
You'll never hide from Heidi Eleanor Jones. I go, you go, we all go for Hugo. Jamie. She has no last namey.
She's our kind of mess. It's Jennifer Messer.
Sipped some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
She's our favorite streamer, Caroline Peacock.
Kristen the Piston Anderson. Get a bee in your bonnet with Lacey B.
Bringing the funk, it's Leslie Plunkett.
She gets an A from us. It's Lindsay D. Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino. Fresh as a daisy, it's Maisie McHenry. We love her on the rocks. It's Melissa Cox. Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg.
This is Livin' with Michelle Vivian.
I love ya, Olivia Williamson. Tastier than Flanderson, it's Rachel Manderson.
She sure is swell. It's Raquel.
Yes, we canna, it's Savannah.
Cast a spell with Shannon Spellman. Let's share with Sharon Eldridge. The Bay Area Betches. Betches.
And our super premium sponsors.
She's VVIP, it's Amanda V. Can't lose when you're with Amy Baldwin.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Let's go into the woods with Guy Tubbs.
Who, what, why, where, and Gwen Pentland.
It's our queen. It's Queen Laifah.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall.
Know your worth with Jason Kurth.
Hail the cork master, the master of the cork, Jennifer Corcoran. We got our wish, it's Jen Plish.
She's not harsh, she's Jill Hirsch.
She's a little bit loony. Junie. My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo.
She gets an A, it's Kelly B.
We love him madly, it's Kyle Pod Shadley. We're ride or die for Lisa Ryder Barron. She's a whiz, it's Liz Sarthy. Always killing it, it's Lola Alkalani.
The incredible edible Matthews sisters.
She eases our woes, it's Melissa St. Rose. We're on the floor with Molly Dorset. There's a chance of meatballs, it's Rebecca Cloud.
She's the queen bee, it's Sarah Lemke. Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
It's always a good time when you're wasting time with Bravo.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.